So let me give you a quick overview of what I will be covering today. So we will start with a short introduction to Research4Life and the role of the Content Strategy and Policy Committee. The Research4Life Content Strategy and Policy Committee has been actively working to identify missing and underrepresented areas in the Research4Life collection. In this session, we are going to walk you through the key findings from our 2024 user survey. And we are going to share some powerful insights from the focus group we held earlier this year in April 2025. Then the heart of today's session will focus on the results of the focus groups, mainly what users are saying about the gaps they face and what content they need most. And finally, we are going to wrap up by summarizing the steps we will take and how users' feedback will shape the future of the Research4Life collection. So what is Research4Life? So to kick things off, let's take a quick moment to revisit what Research4Life is all about, especially for those who may be newer to the program. Research4Life is a public-private partnership that provides institutions in the Global South with free and low-cost access to high-quality academic and professional content. It's made up of 5 thematic programs, each focused on a key area of development. Hinari for health, Agora for agriculture, Ohari for environment, Ardi for innovation and technology, and GOLI for law and global justice. While each program has its focus, together they offer a powerful and comprehensive platform for research and learning across disciplines. And what truly sets Research4Life apart is the scale and the strength of its partnership, linking together UN agencies, universities, libraries, and publishers in the global effort to close the knowledge gap. The goal is simple and ambitious, to bridge the global knowledge divide, to make sure that researchers, students, and professionals in lower income countries can access the same high quality information as their peers elsewhere. To give you a sense of scale, Research4Life now reaches over 11,500 institutions in 125 countries, offering access to more than 200,000 resources, including journals, books, and databases that are critical to research, to education, and practice. So this is an impressive collaboration and one that is continuing to grow as we listen to users. Research4Life is also strongly aligned with the UN SDGs, so United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and that commitment runs through everything we do. As a unique public-private partnership, our work particularly supports SDGs 4, 5, 10, and 17, those that are focused on quality education, gender equality, reducing inequalities, and building a strong global partnerships. Our strategic plan through 2030 places a strong emphasis on inclusion and equity. We are working to strengthen the global research community by helping to build a more diverse and representative body of knowledge, one that reflects voices and perspectives from all corners of the world. At its core, Research4Life is about opportunity, about making sure that everyone, regardless of geography or income, has the tools they need to learn, to teach, to research, and contribute. And whenever you are a partner, a user, or a supporter, you are helping to create a more inclusive, more equitable global research ecosystem. Now, I would like to introduce you to the Content Strategy and Policy Committee, Mary and I, we are the co-chairs. The committee is a group that works largely behind the scenes to guide the direction of the Research4Life collection. And what we are going to present is the result of the work of the committee. We are showing our faces. We are speaking on behalf of many people that is represented in the committee and other committees that help us to do our work. Our role is to help ensure that the content we offer remains relevant, inclusive, and truly useful for the communities we serve. The committee was created in 2020, so 5 years ago, and since then, we've organized our efforts around 4 key priorities. The first one is identifying content gaps. The second, to promote local content. Third, increase content diversity. And fourth, adapt to evolving research trends. This year, we've been building on the insights of the 2024 Content Gap Survey, and we aim to strengthen the Research4Life collection strategically. The idea behind setting up focus groups was simple. We wanted to go beyond the numbers. We discussed several times that this is not just about survey data or usage stats. We wanted to hear directly from the users, to listen to real voices, to real stories, to learn from their experiences, and truly understand the challenges and needs of those who work on the ground. And this kind of feedback is essential to make sure that the collections reflect the realities of the people who use them, and that we support the research of users of Research4Life. So now let's take a step back. It's a quick step back, and we are going to look at the bigger picture, the broader challenges and opportunities around content in Research4Life. As many of you know, Research4Life provides access to thousands of journals, books, and databases from top publishers. But even with all this content, we continue to hear a clear message from users. There are still important gaps. And these gaps, they show up in 2 main ways. First, in types of content or content types that are available. And second, in how easy or difficult it is to access them. As I mentioned, the Unified Content Portal brings together 5 core collections: Inari, Agora, Ohari, Ardi, and Goldie. And this structure of 5 collections provide a strong thematic coverage, but it's not the full story. Some subject areas are still underrepresented. Certain regions, languages don't have enough coverage and usability. Especially things like authentication and search can still be real barriers. So to really understand where the gaps are in our content, the Content Strategy and Policy Committee launched the 2024 Content Gap Survey. And this survey, when we launched it last year, gave us a foundation of feedback, showing us, pointing us the way where users feel the collection is falling short and what areas need more attention. But we didn't stop there. We didn't stop with the survey. In fact, the survey was the trigger to go beyond and to engage in conversations. So in 2025, we took things a step further by holding 2 focus group sessions. And these conversations, they gave us a deeper, more insights. They validated the survey results, and they revealed the real world impact behind the data. So through these stories, we began to see not just what's missing, but why it matters. So let's dive in, let's look at it. The 2024 survey, Content Gap Survey, we ran it for 6 weeks, and we made sure that it was accessible by offering it in 3 different languages, so English, French, and Spanish. We wanted to reach out as many people as possible, and we were especially happy to connect with the Research4Life alumni group as part of this effort. In total, we received 46 responses, which included almost 70 thoughtful comments and suggestions. And each of those responses, they gave us valuable information about the needs, about the priorities of our users community. And this is the basis, this is the foundation for the discussions about the focus groups. And to give you a quick snapshot of what we've learned so far from our survey, first, many users, they pointed out missing subject areas and underrepresented regions, highlighting gaps in both subjects and geographic coverage. Second, there were concerns about usability, especially related to language barriers and how easy or not it is to navigate the platform. Finally, access came up again and again, particularly issues with restricted or limited access to certain content, which continues to be a major challenge for many users. The key insights, the feedback we received through the survey was rich and diverse, and it offered comments about what users feel is missing. Several subject areas were consistently mentioned. For example, business administration, humanities, social sciences, artificial intelligence, and information management. We also received specific requests for additional resources, particularly books and databases, and the names that came up frequently included High Online, Business Source Complete, and ABI Inform. On the regional side, there was a strong call to broaden representation, especially for African literature, and with users mentioning the African journals online, the platform like Ajol. There was also a push for more content focused on Northeast Africa, Asia, South Asia, Bhutan, and indigenous knowledge systems. Taken together, all of these points, they go to the same message. We need broader, more inclusive coverage in terms of subject areas and geographic focus. And another interesting finding of this survey was around the language. While there were several suggestions to expand language offerings, we know that 72% of the respondents, they said that additional languages were not a top priority for them, but still they mentioned that it could be good to have specific languages included in the platform. For example, Bhutan's national language, Tibetan languages, African languages, and German came up also in the feedback. Respondents also suggested some subject areas, for example, library science, law, artificial intelligence, and social science. And finally, on the usability front, we heard great ideas. Participants, they recommended a better article recommendation, a clear separation between free access and restricted content, a more user-friendly A to Z index, an enhanced search capabilities, and improve accessibility features overall. So based on the survey responses, we started outlining some key recommendations going forward. We also know that the numbers alone don't tell the full story. So we came up with 3 recommendations: to identify and prioritize underrepresented subjects, to address regional and geographic content gaps, to improve accessibility and usability, but we needed to have more information to consolidate these recommendations. So to dive deeper into the why behind these gaps, we held 2 focus group sessions early 2025. And these conversations with the group of users allowed us to validate the survey findings and hear directly from users about their lived experiences, their challenges and needs. And this is what I'm proposing now to look at the discussions. The Research4Life focus group. So while the Research4Life partnership has made a real and tangible progress, we know that content gaps, they still exist. And these gaps, they can have a direct impact on the quality and reach of research being done on the ground. That's why we've been working to build on the survey by engaging with users and stakeholders in a recurrent conversation. Earlier this year, as I said, we hosted 2 focus group sessions with clear goals in mind. So the first goal was to validate and go deeper into the insights we gathered from the 2024 survey. Second, we wanted to bring stakeholders together for a meaningful collaborative discussion. And third, we wanted to make sure that the Research4Life collections, they continue to reflect the real needs and the expectations of our users. These sessions were intentionally designed to be practical and participatory. And together with the users, we explored specific journals and subjects, content needs tied to subjects and regions, language and inclusivity gaps, especially for non-English materials, and recurring access challenges, particularly where content is still behind publisher paywalls. So in a nutshell, the goal is simple, was to make sure user voices are helping us to shape the future of the collections and closing the gaps. So we aim to listen, to learn, and turn the feedback we were receiving from the focus group into practical improvements. So more specifically, we set out to identify key journals, books, databases, and subjects, to pinpoint regional and geographic content needs, to gather feedback on language preferences and resources, and to understand the impact of access restrictions, specifically in cases where publishing content isn't available in some Research4Life eligible countries. What we try to work on is a clear, comprehensive picture. And the goal is to turn the insights we received into concrete, practical recommendations, not just ideas, but steps we can take to improve the collection. And most importantly, what we want to make sure is that the content available through Research4Life is better aligned with researchers' needs, so that it truly supports researchers, educators, and practitioners into the work in the work they are doing on the ground. So let's look at the focus group. So in April 2025, we hosted 2 English language focus group. We wanted to do more in French and Spanish, but we could not. Our capacity was limited to English language groups, with participants from the Research4Life training program alumni network. We were thrilled to have 65 participants from 17 countries. So you can see that there was a wide range of regions and research environments. And countries, they included Malawi. I'm just mentioning a few, but the list, you can see it on the screen. Malawi, Kenya, Sudan, Myanmar, Zimbabwe, Nepal, Morocco, France, Nigeria. And by having 17 countries, these gave us a rich, diverse mix of voices grounded in real user case experience across different cultures. From the focus group discussions, there are several key content gaps that emerged. And in some areas, participants, they said we needed to strengthen representation. We are talking about subject areas like medical databases, especially point of care tools. There's a real need to have more point of care tools, to have more content on psychology and mental health. Then topics in technology information, like topics in information technology, computing, emerging fields like AI and robotics. Also technical and vocational education and training, resources for both elementary and higher education. On the business and economic development, participants, they highlighted the need to have practical content on entrepreneurship, small and medium enterprises, and sustainable livelihoods. Public policy, urban studies, and post-conflict reconstruction was also mentioned. And finally, another area, environment and climate, with the need for practical materials related to climate change mitigation and adaptation. In addition to the subjects, participants also, there's a strong demand from participants for a broader range of content types. So most requested resources are textbooks in clinical, nursing, agriculture, and environment science, the need to access to ProQuest eBook Central, which facilitates the access to books in a digital format, databases like Business Source Complete, resources focused on small, medium enterprises and entrepreneurship, materials on information technology, patents, including full WIPO access to the patents database, research databases such as Web of Science, Scopus, and Science Direct, more collections from or resource types from Wiley, Elsevier, APA, Springer, and Wolters Kluwer, more access to resources like Hein Online, then the need to access more local and regional content, more local aggregators, and access to Braille literature and case studies, with the focus on materials that are rooted in local or regional practices. So for us participants, they made it clear, users, they want not just more content, but they want content more relevant, diverse, and practical resources. And this is why, because they say that these kind of resources, they support the learning, the teaching, the innovation, and problem solving in local context. Another important thing that came through the focus group was the issue of regional and geographic content gaps. So participants, they say that there are certain parts of the world that are still underrepresented in the collection. And they've mentioned sub-Saharan Africa, the North and Horn of Africa, Bhutan and South Asia, and the Middle East and North Africa. Also, Myanmar and Yemen were referred. So there's the need to bring more content from certain regions to ensure that the platform reflects diverse perspectives and support regionally grounded research. Another strong message from the focus group was the need to expand linguistics and regional diversity. So this confirmed what we have heard in the survey. Participants recommended more content in Arabic, in African indigenous languages, in Swahili, and literature, other literature, for example, materials in Bhutan language. So these highlights, they reflect users' cultural and linguistic realities, and they should be taken into account. for the future development of the collection. The focus group also highlighted several persistent access challenges that users continue to face. So this was also an opportunity for participants to report on issues such as difficulty retrieving full text articles from major platforms like Science Direct, Wiley, and PubMed. Publisher restrictions that limit access for institutions in Group B countries. Also unclear or confusing eligibility and registration processes. And there were also concerns about limited access to recent journal issues. And in the case of Myanmar, there was an issue restarting or redeploying access to the platform due to the earthquake. To cope with these access issues, users mentioned that sometimes the platform doesn't respond, so they need to rely on informal workarounds, such as interlibrary loan networks, open access platform, iFile databases to fill the gaps of unavailable content or cancel subscriptions from their universities due to budget cuts. And we are all familiar with budget cuts. So these access challenges, they reinforce the point that access isn't just about what's in the collection, it's also about how easily and reliable users can get to the content. In addition, participants also offered a wide range of practical recommendations to improve overall research support. And here we observed a shift from the traditional subject topics of training to emerging areas of, or new emerging areas of training and capacity building. So participants talked about the need to have, through Research4Life, training on tools like Dimensions and OpenAlex, access to AI-powered tools for literature discover, and you know that now we start having AI research assistants in most of the search engines. Systematic reviews to know more about AI tools like Elicit, Connected Papers, or Research Rabbit, just to give you some examples. Also training on grant writing, mentorship, and mental well-being. Subscriptions to citation management tools to support academic writing. Then another set of demands of training, including better promotion of single sign-on. So they want to understand the process of the single sign-on to access Research4Life portal, to improve multilingual functionalities with Summon, and a clear guidance on APC waivers and publishing support. So these suggestions, they point to a broader vision, one where Research4Life isn't just a content platform, which is not, but a comprehensive support system for researchers to rely on. And this is quite interesting to see these recommendations. So where do we go from here? So to address the gaps identified through the survey and the focus groups, we are proposing a set of concrete action steps divided or grouped into 5 strategic areas. To expand, the first area is to expand subject coverage and content types, like, for example, include more materials concerning technical and vocational education, public policies, business and entrepreneurship, artificial intelligence, and mental health materials. To expand the content types to include textbooks, to include other databases that were mentioned, and to include research platforms, for example, ProQuest eBook Central. Then the second is to increase regional and language inclusion. And our proposal is to ensure that more content reflects diverse geographies, languages, and local publishing. So to have more local content included. The third action step is access and infrastructure to tackle some barriers, to also tackle some confusion in terms of eligibility, and this would be good to discuss, and the limited access to certain platforms. Also to provide clear guidance. I think some from the discussion, some participants, they need guidance, other type of guidance in institutional eligibility and the registration process, and also to promote the single sign-on, so to go beyond the password and the IP authentication. Then the user support through partnerships. So our suggestion, our action step is to suggest working more with providers and institutions to broaden tool access and publishing support, to build strong ties with local content aggregators, and to partner with organizations to develop or to explore, to investigate other licensing models. Then finally, the training and awareness. We suggest equipping users with skills to navigate tools like Dimensions, OpenAlex, AI-based platforms. I mentioned the illicit connected papers for literature review, but there are many AI tools that are coming out even every day that help researchers with literature reviews and help them to save time, which is a precious time. Also offer training in grant writing, academic publishing, mentorship, and mental health support. And these are steps. They are not just ideas. They are the beginning of a roadmap. It can be overwhelming to say we are going to tackle all of these steps, but we wanted to highlight all the steps before deciding for which one we are going to start to make collections even more inclusive and responsive. Finally, we should look for more opportunities to include users' voices in the content selection process. So the survey and the focus group, they were baby steps. There are other committees and groups that are in content connection with the users, from for example, the communications committee and the capacity development committee. And the focus group showed us how powerful those discussions are in identifying not only gaps, but also access problems. This is a comparison table between the survey and the focus group. It's difficult to read, but in a nutshell, what it shows is that the survey opened up a little bit of the window, so we could have a sneak peek of what users need. But the focus group, they opened the door. They actually allowed us to enter the room and to have a fruitful discussion with users and really take note of the things that they are experiencing, the real needs, and how we can make a difference in the future. Even more inclusive, not only all the work that Research4Life has been doing for the past 20 years, but to go beyond, to adapt to the real needs, and to the changing environment we are. And with that, I'm finishing my presentation, and I'm open to questions and answers. So thank you so much.